A few years ago, I was supposed to go to Alaska. My dad had been to 49 out of the 50 states, and this was going to be the last one. We started planning a trip together, and then one Sunday morning, he called me and said, "Hey, I was looking at flights to Alaska, and, flights to Paris are cheaper." Now, I thought about this for like 2 seconds, and I was like, yeah, we're going to France. Done. So instead of Alaska, we ended up in Paris. And not just Paris, we ended up taking the train to Brussels and to Amsterdam and all the way back down. 3 countries, one trip. It was incredible. But what stuck with me the most wasn't the travel. It was the question my dad asked before our last day in Paris. He said, if you could only go back and see one thing, just one, what would it be? And for me, the answer was instant. There's this painting by Vincent van Gogh called The Starry Night, and I love that painting. I've loved it since I was a kid, lying on the driveway at night, staring up at the stars with my dad, trying to make sense of something that felt bigger to me. And somehow, that painting captures that feeling. Not perfectly, not scientifically, but emotionally, it just gets it. We had already seen it earlier in the trip at the Muséum d'Orsay. But when my dad asked that question, I didn't hesitate. I want to go back and see that painting one more time. So we did. We walked into the museum, we went up the stairs, we turned right, and there it was. And I just stopped. I stood there. 5 minutes passed, then 10, then 20. My parents eventually said, "Hey, you ready to go see the rest of the museum?" I looked at him and I said, "You guys go ahead. I'll be here." They kind of smiled and walked out of the room. And I stayed. For over an hour, I just stood there, moving from one side to the other, stepping closer, stepping back, watching the room fill and empty over and over again. I wasn't trying to take a picture of it. I was trying to make a memory. I wanted to remember what it felt like to be there. The cool air, the quiet hum of people walking through, the way the painting seemed to move, even though it didn't. And to this day, I can still go back to that moment instantly. Not because it was the most famous painting in the museum, not because it was the most valuable, but because it was my most favorite painting in the world. And I had the great privilege to see it in person. And that's when something clicked for me. Because if you had asked anyone else, if someone else in that museum, they probably would have said, "You spent an hour on that? There are better paintings here, more important ones, more famous ones." And they wouldn't be wrong. But they wouldn't be right for me. And that's the point. We spend so much of our lives being told what we should care about. What's impressive, what's valuable, what's worth our time. But every once in a while, you come across something that just, it speaks to you. And it might not make sense to anyone else. It might look like you're spending too much time on one thing, too much energy, too much passion. It might look a little lopsided. And you know what? Good. Stay there. Because those are the things that make your life feel like your life. So here's my challenge to you. Find your starry night. Find the thing that you would cross the world to see just one more time. The thing you would stand in front of for over an hour while everything else fades away. The thing that makes you forget what anyone else thinks is important. And when you find it, don't apologize for it. Don't rush past it. Don't trade it for something more impressive. Just stand there and take it in. Because you only get one life. You only get one you. So be a little lopsided. Be a little obsessed. And when the moment comes, be the person who stays and stares for as long as you like.